To me, like the whole COVID pandemic, I think that's something that, even though it was such a big deal, I feel like not many people talk about it in retro. I mean, it's still happening, but the shutdown and everything like that. Like, I feel like people are almost kind of shying away from it, talking about it, because it was such a depressing time. Let's be honest. It was a tough time for wrestling, but I feel like there's so much to talk about, so many interesting stories about wrestling in that period.
I mean, honestly, like 2020 was easily the worst year of my life, like
Hmm.
by far. And it started before the lockdowns even. I came into the year so like jazzed off a great year. We had built a lot of buzz with like Rockness was gaining tons of steam with bar wrestling, and we were getting other bookings. We were in China, like we were just doing all this stuff. And then, a lot of stuff went down, and I ended up getting fired from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, where I'd been for 10 years. And then my dog died.
Oh,
And then
I'm sorry.
my grandma died, who was my best friend. And then, like 2 weeks later, the world is shut down. And the only thing I had, which was awesome bookings lined up, was gone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not the only thing. I have my wife and son. If it wasn't for them, though, I don't know. Like, had all that happened and them not being in my life, I don't know what I would have done, because literally, I felt like my career was finally getting back on track. We had 3 new states lined up. We had, done that big match with SCU at Bar Wrestling, Rockness and Watts against Kazarian Daniels and Scorpio Sky with the Bucks and like Hangman. Like we did this big thing. I was like, dude, eyes are on us. Like here we go, here we go. And like AEW was supposed to come here that June, and I was like, let's go. Like this is our time, man. Like all of us, like me, Watts, Kevin. Like we were just like, yo, like that's like what, and like Ryan Taylor, like just a bunch of us were like, oh, this is our crew. Like he had gotten signed, so we're like, oh man, like one by one, it looked like people were starting to make it. I was like, yo, it's finally our time. Finally, our little freaking chunk of dudes that have been grinding is gonna make it, and then poof, gone,
Yeah.
dead like that. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll never wrestle again. Like I just literally didn't think I was going to, and you know, I didn't have anything lined up. No one would use me and Kevin anywhere far. We're like, hey man, like we're prepared to travel. Like, we'll take every precaution. Like we will do this as safe as possible. And like, I was like, I felt bad because I felt like, am I putting my family at risk? Then everyone was like, oh, come down to AEW. It's they really take care of you. You might get some matches. And then, if they like you, like who knows? Like, come on, you guys know everybody here. Come down here. And we just couldn't make that happen. And so I was like, fuck, man, I'm doing nothing. And like, we're trying to get on New Japan Strong, which was literally like in our backyard. And we couldn't even get on that. And I was just like, dude, we can't get on anything. And then bar wrestling was going to start again with some private studio stuff, kind of like what everybody was doing, like
Yeah.
closed tapings, tons of precautions, no fans. And then Speaking Out happened. And basically, the last communication I had with Joey was him saying, what do I do about the shows? And I said, cancel it all. That
Yeah.
was it. That was the end of it,
You gotta.
and that was it. And then I was like, oh, like I really am never going to wrestle again, because the falling out that I had had with United and Championship Wrestling, I'm never going back there, like ever. And especially in that moment, so fresh, like, oh, there was nothing I would rather do less than be on a Championship Wrestling from anything. And I was like, no. And then when they started saying they were going to do the primetime lives, everyone was like, oh, are you going back? And I was like, no, absolutely not. I will not. I was like, I'm not going to be a part of that. I was like, I want nothing to do with it. And then a lot of my friends, well, I mean, they had no choice. They went back. You know, they went back. They went and made some money and kept their reps up, and I just rotted away. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm probably done then, huh? Because I
Wow.
don't want to do that. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I guess I'm not doing anything.
And then
And
so
then
many smaller places aren't running at all,
no, not at all,
because
not safely at least, because
yeah.
I am who I am. I'm a very staunch person, and I was, dead serious about taking COVID seriously and keeping my family safe.
Hmm.
Everyone's got their different views, but I mean that shit was as real as it gets to me. A lot of people I knew got it and suffered from it. It affected my, career to the point where I was like, well, I have to take this seriously. It's done so much to me and to people I care about. So a lot of the people that were reaching out, I was like, no, I can't, man. Like, you guys aren't doing things right. You
Yeah.
guys aren't doing things right. You're going to get people sick. I don't fuck with that. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not bringing something home to my wife and son. They don't
Yeah.
deserve it.